what have we got here then? This is a new present for me. What it is, where this came from is I filled up my SSD capacity a few weeks ago. I didn't think I'd mind. I just started installing games from Steam or wherever on one of my USB-free portable terabyte drives. I think they're a Toshiba portable terabyte drive. And I didn't really notice. I started playing and things started getting a bit jerky. You know, sometimes you just don't know. You just put up with it. And then I was like, what the hell's going on here? And like, I think Far Cry 3, I was loading new maps and things would really start stuttering. So I started thinking about it and I was like, yeah, that's a good bit of reason that I've started using. I've expanded my space onto this through this USB-free connection, and I've no longer got my SSD that I'm used to. This is my first SSD, the OCZ. I don't know what this is, but it's 128 gig, and I think I've had 3 of these. So these actually taught me to hey Kato, these actually taught me to not store anything I want to keep on a SSD, because it just kept, I say I've replaced it 3 times, so I just thought, okay, just use them for games and stuff. Really fast, phenomenal access time, you never get a stutter or anything. Great product, but don't store anything you want to keep. And after those I spotted a deal on 2, I think they're 80 gig Intel. I think the model number might be a 330. So I've got 2 of those and I set them up as RAID Stripe, which is I think the dangerous kind of RAID, but it's the fastest, because it basically, if you have a, say, if it's reading it, how does it work? How does Stripe work? Basically it puts your information, the files, over the 2 drives, so it can read up both of them at the same time. So it's really fast. I think that's how it works. But anyway, when I got that, the performance over this guy and over the hard drives at the time was just phenomenal. So what I'll do is I just picked up this 850 Pro. I put it on. I was going to buy one of these. I read the Samsung. I never really heard Samsung was into SSDs because I've not been keeping up with the technology. And I started reading about them, and they seem cheaper, and they seem like they've really started pushing all the suppliers into, you know, better performing, higher capacity, and bringing the prices down. This I actually was going to order the 840. I read really good things about it, and then I saw this on pre-order, and it was about to come out in just a couple of weeks. So I thought, I'm in no big rush. It's better. It wasn't much more expensive. I thought better to get the latest technology. I started to read about it. I hate unboxes, so I'm not really going to do an unboxing or anything. You can really not win any prizes for guessing what's in it. It's like yeah, this is how you plug it in. This is not to eat it and not to feed it to your dog, or it's not waterproof, things like that. Don't know why you get a CD. I guess it's the manual, but on a CD. And oh, a couple of stickers. You can put them on the back of your car. It's got that on the front of the box, and I don't know what it is. I looked it up. I thought, is it some kind of backup technology or something? Samsung SSD activated. Stick a comment on it if you know what that is, because I couldn't find it. Anyway, it's a pretty little thing. Not that it matters, because it's going to be buried inside my computer. But it's plastic, which is, it's always a letdown for me. The Intels are metal, which I prefer. You know, when you're spending, this was $400. It's a lot of money for something this size, even though it is phenomenal technology compared to what we've had in the past. These things get better and better and better. Anyhow, it is a pretty little thing. Maybe some of the guys with the transparent cases and all the neons and stuff can mount that and really show it off. Put it at a nice angle, like it's in the Louvre or something like that. Shine some pretty LEDs on it. Yeah, it's definitely set for that. Anyway, let's go back to the box, because this is, I guess, an unboxing. It's got all the gloating on there you could ever want. It's powered by Nand, which is the brand new technology. Ultimate read-write performance, doesn't really say out, does it? It's not a spec. Enhanced endurance reliability, again, don't really say anything. Efficient power management, again, doesn't really say anything. It's not relative to anything. Now, I like that. 10-year limited warranty is brilliant. I mean, hard drives really piss you off. My OCZ, I say I never to store anything I want to keep on there. My Intels have been bulletproof. They've really been fantastic. So you can see which way I sway for between those two companies for SSDs. Anyway, yeah, the 10-year warranty is great, but if your hard drive goes down, it's kind of a sad affair, isn't it? You don't really... It cheers you up a little bit that you're going to get a replacement, but you're still a bit sad if you've lost some stuff, you know, some creative photos or something you've done in Photoshop or save games, I don't know. I guess with the cloud now, it's more important stuff is easier to back up. Anyhow, it says the specs, so I believe my Intel in RAID, they get to maybe 450 up to 500. It's been a long time since I tested them on HD TAC. This says it gets to 550. And they do 4 models of 128, 250, 512 and terabyte. And the write speed's 470 on the 128 and 520 on the rest. The IOPS, which is the, I guess it's the in and out performance standard they're trying to set, new terminology. The rest of it's just, for more information, see the website, which is cool. For me personally, all this crap, you could just send this in a white box with some bubble wrap and knock off $5, I don't know, knock off $2, whatever. I just, you know, I feel like I want to keep it because it's pretty, but I don't want to keep it because I've got enough crap in my house. So yeah, just send us like a white, they used to do white OEM. I remember, well, maybe not in the US, I lived in the UK, there used to be a company called Choice, I believe, and they did white OEM boxes and it was a little bit cheaper. But you got the same warranty and everything. Anyhow, what I'll do is, I'll run some little benchmarks. If you are interested in buying them, it's always nice to see a little video. If you're going to spend 400 bucks or if you're going to buy the 128 gig, you can just see what it's like, what it does perform. And I think although Intel are quite dated, they do perform fantastic. And when I've read about things, I never really see anything beating them by much, you know, anything significant. One thing that I love these SSDs for is the access speed. If you want things to run fluid, especially with games, you know, if it's doing a lot of accessing different files, it's not the total transfer speed, which is completely phenomenal now. It's actually just those little accesses. If you get a slow response time with that, you're going to get some kind of stutter or delay. And even if it's a fraction of a second, you know, it kind of bugs you if you see it a few times. It's like your super machine you've spent all this money on is imperfect. Anyhow, so yeah, I'll run some tests. The difference between the 850 and the 840, which is the previous model, is they got this VNAND technology. All the previous memory and RAM and SSDs based on Nand, I believe. And it's just the way they lay out the chip when they fabricate it. So it's all laid out in 2D, I believe. They may have multiple levels, but I don't think there's that many in the current technology. And then this new VNAND is 3D fabrication. So they've figured out how to vertically stack within the fabrication, so they can put a lot in a smaller area. Now the technology, as it's progressed, as it's evolved, it's got smaller and smaller. So I think when they came out, it was like 120 nanometers, the size of the individual elements they use, and it's down to like 20 now. I mean, you hear it in the CPUs a lot. They're at 40 and 30 and they're having problems because the electricity causes heat, and they're very, very small sizes of these elements. They really don't operate very well, and they're reaching limits. So I believe this, I've not read that much about it, but I believe this, the 850 is actually 40 nanometer. That 1 nanometer is a billionth of a meter, by the way, so it's phenomenal sizes. I think you'd need a microscope, electrical microscope to view this stuff. It's kind of a pity we can't see this technology in our hands, because it'd be nice to have a glass screen on here and see what's going on in there, but you won't be able to really see anything. Anyhow, yeah, so the reason the VNAND is actually the 3D fabrication of these elements rather than 2D. And if you look up, I think Toshiba and Sony and Samsung, they all have different terminology for it, but they've got the similar fabrication. I'm not surprised if it's just one fabricating plant in Asia somewhere doing it all for them. Yeah, this says it's made in Korea. I don't know, Samsung Korean? Is it North Korean or South Korean? I don't know. I have a good guess, but it doesn't say. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll run some tests, and it'd be nice to see how they compare, and I'll be glad if it helps anybody out if they're interested in buying one, or maybe stick with some else. And I'll also compare with the OCZ, and the maybe I don't have like a fast hard drive anymore. The reason I love these SSDs also is there's no heat, there's no vibration. You know, I'm not very good with my cases, and I always end up with something vibrating when I had hard drives. So you don't get that anymore. You know, my fans are really slow moving or Bulgarian, so they don't cause vibration, and there's no hard drives. These things don't cause any. There's no mechanical parts in them, so there's no vibration. Also, yeah, there's no heat. The price is not good in comparison to a hard drive. I think I was looking at the 4 terabyte Western Digital Black, I believe it was, and I think it was 8 times the price for this item relative to the size. So I think for 4 terabyte it might have been 200. Maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was even more. Maybe it was 16 times the price. But it's a huge difference. I say that. So the main pros with the SSDs, if you've not had one, is the sound, no heat. The access speeds are phenomenal. I mean, hopefully when I run the HD TAC, we'll see that. And the transfer speeds are phenomenal. Well, I think the Intels in the RAID stripe are running twice as fast. The transfer speed is twice as fast as the OCZ, and it's probably I think it was 10 times faster than my previous hard drive. So what I'll do is I'll plug it in. I'll dig into my box and see if I can navigate through all the crappy positioned wires and install this, and I'll run some tests. Okay, I thought running these tests I'd capture the screen as I ran them, because the graph looks pretty cool and it's a real-time thing and you can just see that I'm doing it. But then I thought, no, it's probably going to be a big impact on the computer. Probably affect the hard drive speed quite a lot. So I wasn't going to capture it like this. I was just pissing about here with the camera and zooming in on my monitor. Oh no! OCZ, you failed us. Your moment of glory and fame in the spotlight, and you crashed. I've not had this with any of the other things I've played with this program. It's called a HD Tune now. I remember it being called HD TAC. Maybe they renamed it. Anyway, the OCZ kind of crashed halfway, so I stuck it up there anyway. So it got a minimum of 160 meg, maximum 188, which is still really, really high in comparison to some the hard drives I'm used to. Okay, this is the USB Toshiba 1 terabyte drive, the external drive, USB free. So I mean they're pretty fast, but you can see it's a lot slower than the SSD SATA drive. The SATA drive is the OCZ one is a 3 gigabyte per second SATA. So even with the USB free, it's 3 times slower for the minimum. The access time's probably it's pretty good, 17 milliseconds, but I think the OCZ would have been a lot less. I'm guessing it would have been like 3 or 4, and we'll have to see what the other ones look like. And here is the reigning champion. This is the this is my old, well, let's say old. I don't know if they're 2 years old. These are 80 gig, 280 gig Intel SSDs. I think they're the 330s. Maybe wrong, maybe 320s. I'd have to look in the case to see. Anyway, these guys are set up in RAID stripe, and they're just phenomenal. I mean, let's say you can see the average is like 490, but they peak at 536 megabytes. They've got a burst rate is 2.3 gigabytes per second. It's just ridiculous. CPU usage, I think, stays the same with all of them. And now you can see the access time down where SSDs are. I mean, that's just phenomenal. It's 0.1 of a millisecond. Now this is the new Samsung. So it's the 850 Pro Samsung, and it's 512 gig. Now it's actually 140 megabytes per second. The peak speed is 140 megs. So that's like 40, well, yeah, just 40% more for a peak speed. The average is it's like down 100. The only place it actually beats the RAID Intels is it's half the access time. It's 0.045, and the other was 0.11 or something like that. And the burst rate is 10 times less. The CPU usage is like the same. So I really don't know if it's the SATA RAID, sorry, the RAID stripe that makes the Intels perform so fantastic. I'm really interested now to see if I got another one of these, how that would perform. But certainly not going to do that straight away. I'm going to try see if I can fill it up with some games, and I can try and justify getting another one. But yeah, the Intels are just absolutely performing really, really good. Okay, I perused some of the good websites I like for reading about hardware, and just pulled off some of the benchmarks they have on this SSD, so you can see how I compared, with my test just to prove that it's not really my motherboard's working faster or slower, than the average. I'm actually using a Z87 Sabertooth Asus, I believe, is the motherboard, and I've got quite a lot of memory. I've got like 32 gig fast DDR3, so I don't think anything would really impair the hard drives that way. And you can see from Tweaktown that all the latest drives are really close to each other. So it says something for the Intels in the RAID striped. I was actually searching for some RAID stripe benchmarks. I really couldn't find a lot, so I don't know if something's going on there. I really don't know that much about the benchmarking of hard drives. So I've not used this program a lot. So maybe it's something not right, or maybe the RAIDs, the Intel SSD, or generally just SSDs in RAID stripe work really fast. It'd be interesting to find that out. So overall, the best place that this Samsung 850 Pro performed was in the access time was almost half of the Intels, and but in all other cases the Intels were faster in the RAID stripe configuration. Well, I've enjoyed playing with this and compiling this video, so if you have any comments or any additions, anything you think I should test, just stick it in the area below, and hopefully it's been a while since I've made some videos, especially on hardware stuff, so to buy some hardware for an excuse to make some videos, or make some videos an excuse to buy some hardware. Have a good one. Bye bye.